afternoon, and welcome to our Wednesday webinar. We really appreciate you joining us today, and we're excited to answer questions about our medical billing business opportunity. I can see there's lots of folks getting logged into Zoom right now and joining the webinar room. So again, we appreciate you joining us. Thanks for taking time out of your busy Wednesday afternoon to learn more about our medical billing business concept. And looks like we've got quite a group showing up today. We're going to give everybody a couple more minutes to get logged in and settled in and make sure the audio is working and everything. And hopefully you all had a good experience with Zoom. I know sometimes Zoom doesn't play nicely with the technology. Really quickly, if you can find your way to your Zoom controls, there should be a Q&A button in your Zoom controls. If you open that up, you should be able to raise your hand to let us know that you're able to hear audio. You could also put a quick note. Thanks a lot, Nevin. We appreciate you letting us know that it looks good. Hi, Amy. Thanks for saying hello, and thanks for joining us. Those of you who are still getting logged in, feel free to say hello in the Q&A section and let us know that the audio is coming through and that you're able to see the slides. Again, we really appreciate you joining us. And obviously, we want to make sure that the technology is working well for everyone. Hi, Mohammed. Thanks for joining. Leave, hey, nice to see you joining us today, Leave. Marisol, hi. Thanks for joining us. Good to see that the audio is working properly today. I can see we've still got people joining us, so we'll give just a minute more for everybody to get logged in and settled. For those of you just now joining us, thanks a lot for taking time out of your busy afternoon. We do certainly appreciate it. And if you'd like to say hello, find your way to the Q&A button in your Zoom controls. You can say hello and let us know that the audio is coming through and that Zoom is working properly for you. It looks like we are cooking with fire though. So why don't we jump in and officially start? So my name is Jason Pettit. I am the Chief Growth Officer here at American Business Systems. I have been, hi Antonio. Antonio from Florida, welcome. We appreciate you saying hello. I've been with American Business Systems for 17 years, and that's a little over half of American Business Systems' journey of helping people start successful medical billing businesses. American Business Systems in January celebrated 30 years of helping people start successful medical billing businesses. So I've been along for 17 years of that ride. Very thankful to be here. And we'll talk just a little bit about American Business Systems. Hi, Devendra. Thank you for saying hello, and we really appreciate you joining us today. So American Business Systems, for the last 4 years running, has been selected as a top 100 game changer with Franchise Dictionary magazine. Franchise Dictionary is the sister company of FranServe, which is a franchise consulting organization. They're the largest franchise consulting organization in the world. Really good group of folks. And if you do not have a copy of Franchise Dictionary magazine, feel free to make your way over to franchisedictionary.com. It's absolutely free. There's all kinds of information about different franchises that are available. And you can see that we're listed in the top 100 game changers. So we're very appreciative to them for recognizing us for the 4th year in a row. Some of you may be new to American Business Systems and our business model. Some of you may have been looking at American Business Systems for weeks, months, or years. But we do have everything that you need to start a successful medical billing business. So that includes all of the software that you need. It includes your marketing materials. It includes a website for your company. And of course, we help you set that up and get your email addresses working and all of that sort of thing. All of the infrastructure that you need for your business. Our owners offer 10 different revenue cycle management solutions. And I'm sure we'll talk about many of those today on the webinar as we answer questions from everyone. And we also have live training. Our live training comes with a 30-day unconditional 100% money back guarantee. We're the only franchise in the world with a 30-day money back guarantee. And we also include lifetime support, and that's phone and email support. We have a phenomenal support team, very passionate about helping our new owners become successful. And you also get access to our support website, which after 30 years of developing this business model, the support website is quite robust. One thing that you might want to check out if you haven't already is we do have a free ebook that's available right on the home page of our website. On the bottom right of your screen, you can see our URL. So you can visit our main site at absystems.com. Don't forget there's an S at the end. And at the top right of the homepage, you'll see the download button for our 5 Secrets to Success ebook. If you haven't already seen that, feel free to click the button. It'll ask you for your name and email address, and you'll get an email with a link to download and view that ebook. It's really good, it's short, and it'll provide some extra insight into how to be successful with a business like this. It looks like most people have joined successfully, and we have working audio and video. We are going to be taking questions live for the next 45 minutes or so. These webinars are a lot of fun. We spend the entire time taking your questions live. And the way to send your questions in, don't worry, we're not going to turn everyone's microphones on and have absolute chaos for 45 minutes. Instead, we use the Q&A button in your Zoom controls so that you can type questions in and we can answer those as they come in. So do please feel free. Click on that Q&A button right now. You can already start putting your questions in. And here in just a few minutes, we're going to start taking those questions live. It would be super helpful if we had a few questions to start with. So find the Q&A button and start adding those in. Before we start taking questions, we do have a very special guest today that's going to be co-hosting with me. Adam Phillips, our amazing and powerful CEO. Adam's going to be joining us today and helping to answer questions. Adam is a published author. He co-wrote the book 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers, which is actually a clever little marketing tool we'll talk about later. He co-wrote that with Dr. Vicki Rackner, who sits on our advisory board. You can get a copy of that book as well. If you go to the email that you used for the invitation to this webinar, it should have your rep's name. You can reply to that email and request a copy of that 9 Ways book. So feel free to request that if you haven't already seen it. Adam's also been published in magazines. Most recently, he wrote an article about AI as it relates to the revenue cycle management industry. The article was published in BC Advantage Magazine, which is billing and coding magazine. We could give you a copy of that article as well if you'd like to see it. It's a great article. I'm sure we'll be talking about AI today. As a matter of fact, I just see a question from Don about AI. So Don, we'll get to that question here in just a moment. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce our CEO, Adam Phillips. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Jason, thanks for that introduction. I'm excited to be on here. We've got a lot of great questions coming in already. I'm looking forward to answering those. Before we jump right into the questions, I do always like to ask folks that are on this webinar today, what brought you here? There are people that are from all different kinds of backgrounds that have been successful in this business, and I'm always just curious. How many of you are coming from some type of healthcare background? Have you ever done billing and coding before? I see a question coming in about having no experience in billing, which will definitely answer that one. So if you guys feel free to let us know what your work background, work experience, where you're coming from. Are you looking at other opportunities aside from billing and coding and maybe something completely outside of healthcare? I don't know. I always just like to ask that question. I'm curious where people are coming from. But yeah, we have already got some questions coming in here. Now, the ebook, someone was asking about a link to the ebook. Are they talking about that
That
the book
that
that you
was the five secrets ebook. That was the five secrets to success ebook.
okay.
That came in a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be happy to send you a link. I don't have that link copy and pasted available right now, but Mohammed, if you get back with your ABS rep, we can send you a direct link to download that if you'd like. No problem. We actually have several other ebooks that we might could send to you as well. Some of the stuff that Jason mentioned, as far as the book that I wrote, that it's a marketing tool. So we've got all kinds of good stuff that we can send you to download if you just get back with your ABS rep and request some of that stuff. So we can do that.
Yep, we will get the link to you. Again, we've got some questions coming in. If you missed a minute ago when we suggested we'll be taking questions live for about 45 minutes. We've got a lot of questions filling up in the queue, but feel free to hit the Q&A button and type your own question in. Of course, as we start answering these questions, usually that gets the juices going and we get flooded with questions and it's impossible to finish. So we've already got a lot of great ones. So we can probably just jump right in. Adam, if you're ready, do you have one of these first few questions selected to answer?
Yeah, and I see several people have typed their business backgrounds, their current job situation, and things that they're looking for. So thank you very much for typing that in there. I'm going to read some of that stuff on the webinar today. So yeah, I mean, we can start just right off the top with the question that Don asked. He actually typed that question in right when you pulled up my my article that I wrote about AI. So Don was asking, how has ABS used AI, artificial intelligence? That's a great question. Our model is a little bit different. We actually have several different technology partners that we've partnered with that have provided the software and solutions that we are promoting, our business owners are promoting as their suite of services, if you will. I don't know if you saw at the very beginning, there was a picture of all these white boxes with brand names on there. That's just to kind of symbolize the different services that you can offer. But virtually every single one of our providers have already implemented various AI features and tools built into their platforms. We can kind of go into a little bit of that stuff, but there's some really cool things happening in terms of the practice management billing softwares being able to listen in on a doctor's conversation with a patient. So we actually have a patented feature called Ambient Assist, which is essentially the doctors can sit there in the exam room with the patients and communicate, just literally just have a conversation with them about, how are you feeling? What's going on? Has anything changed as far as your medical history? What medications are you on? And that entire conversation is automatically built into the chart online through the AI ambient listening. So it's actually a really, really cool feature. And there's several other tools out there in terms of helping with coding and different things like that. AI is really exciting. We're happy to see that technology making its way into healthcare. I don't have any feelings of it's going to be able to completely take over the jobs. And that's exactly the article that I wrote for Billing Coding Magazine. Is AI is simply another tool that humans can use to improve their workflows, improve the doctor's bottom line. So it's very important that people in this industry learn as much as they can about the AI tools that are available, so that they can have an advantage in the marketplace and be someone who is, that doctors want to work with, if that makes sense. So there you go.
Yeah, another thing I'll add to the AI discussion. Everybody's afraid that AI is going to, take everything over, and we're all going to be slaves to the robots. I think we're a few years away from that, probably. But it is a valid concern to think that AI might start to disrupt different types of job functions. And one of the concerns would be, for a business like this, is AI going to start, just sort of magically doing the coding and choosing the codes and filing the claims and everything? And we don't see that being possible for any time in the near future. one of the problems with AI related to choosing the diagnosis and procedure codes and submitting the claims, if you go fully automated on something like that, sort of kind of play that out in your mind. AI makes mistakes. If you've ever used it, it's not reliable for information. It absolutely cannot be relied upon 100%. And go play around with any of the tools that are out there, Chat GPT. They've got some absolutely awesome features and you can do some incredible stuff. But if you're relying on it for 100% accuracy, you're in big trouble. And in a medical scenario, imagine that the AI chooses the diagnosis and procedure, gets it wrong, and the doctor's, been on a 16-hour shift and comes in and, removes the wrong leg, amputates the wrong leg or something like that. It's just, we're nowhere near the AI being able to have 100% accuracy for, coding decisions like that. Maybe somewhere far, far down the road, they get it to the point where it's mostly reliable, but it would still need a human to do quality control checks on these really kind of critical and dangerous scenarios. So, like Adam said, these AI tools right now are mostly to help the doctor with the charting, like ambient assist. It's a really cool feature. It streamlines the note-taking process. It saves the doctor a ton of time, but it's really not taking over the decision making, which is the important part.
Yep.
Have you selected the next question, Adam, or do you want me to dive into one?
I've got one. Yeah. Joe Bell is asking, or basically just stating, I have no experience in billing. How will I be successful? And that's straight to the point. And you've come to the right place, Joe Bell. We've actually designed this program for people that are starting from zero. So if you go look at our YouTube interviews, we have all tons of reviews on Google and Facebook. You'll see that a large portion of our business owners came from a totally different background, no experience in billing, because we actually have a lot of partners on the back end that can do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, as far as, setting up the practices in the software, helping with the training and implementation on the software. We have billers and coders on staff that can help you learn how to do the work yourself. We also have a company that we work with that can provide you with subcontract labor for you. So in effect, you actually can be the owner of the business and don't have to do the billing work yourself if you don't want to. So most of our more experienced and larger medical billing company business owners, they don't do the work themselves. They have people that do the work for them. So that would be my preference personally, to not sit in front of a computer all day, but that's up to you. You can do the work if you want to, and we'll teach you how to do it. What else you got there, Jason?
Yeah, I'll take the next one from Devendra. Devendra is asking, I wanted to check if medical billing is good as I want to start my entrepreneurial journey. And, that's a difficult question for us to answer for you, Devendra. We don't claim to know who would or would not be a good candidate for starting a business like this or any business. That is something that we hope that our new owners have taken a lot of time to research and go through due diligence to make a really good decision if this is the right business model for them. That said, we have had every possible background and skill set and personality type that you can imagine over 30 years of helping people start businesses like this. And what I've come to understand in 17 years of working with hundreds and hundreds of people is it doesn't necessarily matter what your skill set and background is. It much more matters if our business concept resonates with you, if you understand it, if you can become passionate about offering services like this to doctors. And one of the things that I say over and over is, this isn't like some types of businesses where you're trying to talk someone into doing something they don't want to do. What our owners do is they offer increased revenue to these private practice physicians. So most doctors increase their revenue 20 to 30% using the services of our owners. Now, the industry itself potentially might not be a good fit for you. But if it sounds good to offer doctors massive increases in revenue, then this might be a good fit for you. My recommendation would be go through the due diligence steps, do your research, ask for a reference list from the ABS rep that you're working with, reach out to those references, have conversations with them, get to know their experiences with their business, and make a decision for yourself if this is something that you feel compelled to do. If it is, hey, we'd love to have you. Remember, too, we do have a 30-day unconditional 100% money back training guarantee. Once you make your investment, you go through the training. The training usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks. It's all done over Zoom sessions like this, live, one-on-one Zoom training sessions. If you finish those 10 sessions with your instructor and you decide, you know what, after going through the training, it's not for me, you let us know, we issue a full refund. So there's no other franchise in the world that offers that. And that just, we want to offer that to our owners to make absolutely sure that you're confident you made the right choice, that this is the right industry, and we are the right partner for you to help you grow your business. Yeah, hope that helps. Thanks for your question.
Yeah, good stuff.
We have had a few extra people join, so just in case you missed the instructions, we are taking questions live. For those of you that didn't hear us announce that earlier, you can ask questions in the Q&A panel. Go to your Zoom controls. You should be able to find a Q&A button. Click that button, type your questions in, and we're going to be taking those questions live for about another 30 minutes.
Yep. So Don asked a question. What are the biggest common challenges that are faced when starting an ABS business or a medical billing business? Great question. I would say for our business owners, their number one concern, and we've already got some comments here down the way on the Q&A, it's about acquiring clients. That's the number one question that we get from everyone is, how am I going to find doctors? How am I going to convince them to, want to work with me? That's the scary part. And that is the number one issue that we as a company have addressed very specifically. So when you go through our training, we have about a dozen different marketing methods that we teach that we help you with. And they're a little bit different than what the normal, standard marketing, that people are doing out there. There's a lot of people that, as you guys may be aware, you can start your own medical billing business without ABS. I mean, there's tons of different software packages out there. There's tons of different, training programs, billing, coding, training programs, certification programs, but nobody really has the whole package put together, which includes the training, the software, the marketing materials, and most importantly, the ongoing support that focuses on helping you get to a signed client as quickly as possible. So with these marketing methods that we teach you that are very more consultative in nature, through networking, referrals, strategic partnerships, different things like that, we basically show you how to present yourself as much more as a consultant that's there to really help identify trouble spots and fix those trouble spots, rather than just another medical biller walks into an office and, oh, great, here comes another person with a homemade brochure. Hey, can I do your billing? I'll do it for, what are you paying now? I'll do it for, less than that, because that method just doesn't work at all. I mean, as soon as you leave, the front office is taught to put that brochure directly into the trash. I mean, you're not going to get any kind of callback whatsoever if you haven't spent any time developing relationships with these people and looking for referrals and different things like that. So there's a much longer answer to that question, but hopefully that kind of helps get started on the common challenges.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Don. We appreciate it. Antonio's question, it's not really a question, very similar concern, getting customers. I'll tell you, in 17 years of talking with people and helping guide them through researching the business, that is the number one concern. If it's not a concern on the first call, at some point in the due diligence process, you say, hey, I'm investing $30,000. What happens if I don't get a client? I'm anxious about that. And that's perfectly natural. I would say virtually everyone I've worked with in 17 years has that exact same concern. The only exception to that would be if somebody has medical sales experience, right? So, every once in a while we'll get a pharmaceutical rep or a medical device rep. And I mean, they do phenomenally. We had a pharmaceutical rep maybe about 10 years ago come through. He was our fastest starter of all time. He got, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, but I think it was 13 clients in his first 90 days after he finished training. Now, he had an extreme advantage. He'd been a sales rep for decades and, knew hundreds of doctors. So he just went bananas on it. But he immediately quit his pharmaceutical sales job and, he was making way more with his business, way, way, way more. So, one of the things that I always talk about when it comes to concern, first of all, again, we have a 30-day money back guarantee. Make the investment, go through training, learn the marketing strategies. If you're not confident you made the right decision, get a refund. That's literally what it's there for. Another thing is when it comes to marketing a business like this, there's loads of different ways to do it. And I think Adam might have touched on this. One of the great strategies that we can help you with is actually finding a sales rep, like a pharmaceutical rep, like the guy I just talked about, our owner that was so quickly successful. We can help you find a medical sales rep in your local market, and we teach you how to use them to get introduced to the types of doctors that need these kinds of services. So, this isn't you're not going to be the first person we help get clients. We've been doing this for 3 decades. So, get back with your ABS rep. Chat with them about the sales rep program, and then just know that we're going to teach you exactly how to do that in training.
Yeah, and there are no territorial restrictions. So you could literally have people, marketing the services for you in any part of the United States. We actually had a comment from Mohammed here, just talking about family background, and he has a family of 5 with 3 kids, and he's looking to, keep them busy in a family business and support a household income with this business. And we have a lot of people that get friends and family members involved in this business. They have the goal of helping their community, through building the business and hiring neighbors and friends and family and people to help run the business. And the people that you hire and bring on, they can be anywhere in the country. They don't have to be local to you. There are no restrictions in where people are doing the work. There are no restrictions in where you have clients. Even the client, as long as the clients are U.S. based doctors, the work can be done anywhere in the world. So we have some business owners that have built their business up so large that they're utilizing some offshore billing services, and that's perfectly acceptable, perfectly fine. So whatever is the best for you and your goals, that's what you can do. The agreement that you sign with us it's not limiting, like a franchise is very, very limiting in how you can grow it and, what you can do and not do. And we're not like that at all. I mean, you have total freedom on which direction to grow your business and who you have working for you. And you don't have to pay us any royalties either, which is great.
Yeah, that's actually a really big deal. No royalties. I know a lot of you are looking at other franchises. Most franchises have a 5 to 10% royalty, and that doesn't even include a national advertising fund. Usually that's 1%. Usually you have ongoing software costs that are usually close to $1,000, if not more. You may have equipment or employee costs or all kinds of other costs that are, taking away your profitability. You don't have any of that with American Business Systems, unless you decide to hire billers down the road, and then, we can help you with that. So this is definitely a low-cost business from a profitability standpoint. Antonio, by the way, thank you for your question, Mohammed. We appreciate all these great questions. Antonio has a question, follow-up on the previous one. Why would existing medical and dental providers who probably already have some kind of billing solution change what solution they have to become my customer? Great question.
Yep.
Every other billing company in the United States, here's how they market. They go into doctors' offices and they say, hey, I'm a billing company. Do you guys need help with your billing? Well, how much are you paying for your billing? Are you paying 5%? Well, I'll do it for 4%. What do you think about a 1% decrease in your cost? Well, for most doctors, that's going to be less than $1,000 a month of a decreased cost. Our owners are going in saying, hey, we've been helping doctors increase revenue for 30 years. We're part of the nation's largest network of certified medical revenue management companies. Most doctors that work with us increase their revenue 20 to 30%. Would you like a free consultation? We'll do a needs analysis. We'll tell you exactly what your revenue increase will be. I mean, it's so simple. So instead of a tiny little cost reduction, our owners are offering huge increases in revenue. So you do the needs analysis, you work with our support team to develop a proposal, and that doctor's going to see usually tens of thousands of dollars a month in additional revenue for their practice. And that's usually assuming they're already profitable, which you would certainly hope running a medical practice they would be profitable and not in the red. That's profit. They're increasing their profit tens of thousands of dollars a month. That's why they change. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and I did have another small thought on that as well. You know, they have to understand that there's some pain somewhere. So that's really what the practice analysis, the consultation, the initial meeting is all about, because a lot of the times doctors do not have a good grasp on what their current costs are, or what their overall situation really looks like, as far as how many claims are being denied, how many of those denied claims are being refiled and paid, how much money do they have sitting there that no one knows what to do with, because they just don't have the skill set or the time to mess with those claims that got denied. So there's a lot of different things. They also don't factor in their costs for software. And the biggest cost would be, if they have internal staff doing the billing, there's a lot of costs tied up in, paying those people salaries and benefits and, all this other stuff. And so when they take into account all of that, you can actually show them a report in black and white that's like, look, here's your situation with where your claims are at, how much money you've got sitting there, not getting paid. Here's all the money that you're spending on staff and hardware and software and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When they see those, when they see that report in black and white, they're just like, their eyes are just open, because they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. I didn't realize it was costing me this much money to collect my money, So 9 times out of 10, when we do that practice analysis, we are able to identify problems that we can solve and solutions that are like, look, here's a problem that we have found and we have a solution to it. Do you want it or not? Take it or leave it, So that's kind of how we do business.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a really good question, Antonio. Thank you.
And I think a lot of that kind of ties into the Don's question here. The biggest challenges doctors face with medical billing. I just mentioned them all just now. It's costing them way too much money and time, trying to manage their billing in their offices, and they just need a little bit of education on why it makes more sense to outsource. But 9 times out of 10, they are going to save time and save money by outsourcing to one of our business owners to do the work. That's what we see every day.
Yeah, I'll tack on 2 specific things, Don, to your question. Um, Doctors oftentimes struggle with rejections from the insurance companies on these filed medical claims. Depends on what research you look at, but most doctors, when we do assessments, they struggle with medical claims being rejected by the insurance company anywhere between 5 to 10% to upwards of 20 to 30%. We have actually seen in rare scenarios where doctors have over a 50% rejection rate on their filed medical claims. And I mean, that means literally these doctors are seeing patients and being reimbursed on less than half the patients they treat. It's just unbelievable. But the insurance companies, they play games with this, right? I mean, we know these insurance companies don't pay these claims out as fast as they possibly can at the highest possible amount. Raise your hand if you've ever dealt with an insurance company, right? Are they delighted about paying your claim? Never, of course. So one of the things that our owners do is help reduce the number of rejected claims. Our systems nationwide operate at less than a 2% rejection rate. So one of the first really big jumps in revenue that that doctor is going to get is going to be reducing the rejections, that 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50% rejection rate, whatever it is for that doctor. We're going to get that down to less than 2%. Whatever that difference is revenue in their pocket. We're going to achieve that in 60 to 90 days. The other thing that we do is a little more complex. We're partnered with a certified coding company that we can provide an expert certified coder with a ton of experience in that doctor's area of medicine. And we can help optimize, well, the medical coder can help optimize the codes so that the doctor gets the maximum reimbursement. I'm talking about the dollar reimbursement. So, how many times have you submitted a medical claim yourself? You went in for a procedure and they submitted the claim for the procedure. Your doctor submitted the claim, and the insurance company turns it back and says, well, you wanted us to pay $1,200 for this procedure, but we're going to go ahead and only pay $600. So you're going to owe the doctor $600. And I mean, this is the game that's played. Well, if these are coded properly, and if the doctor has the right documentation in the file, which the medical coder assists them with, then they don't get those reimbursement amounts lowered, and not as much anyway. And so that, again, the revenue goes way up. So those are two just, uh, sort of the big kind of highlights of some of the things that we do for these doctors. Great question. Thank you, Don.
Good stuff. I wanted to address this one. Devendra was asking, can you help buy an existing franchise who has existing client base and wanted to come out from the business? We do get that question a lot, and I can understand, wanting to purchase or acquire a business that has, revenue already coming in. And we don't have a platform to facilitate that. And we would not recommend that path, especially when it comes to medical billing, medical billing clients, doctors. And I'll kind of explain that. And I think Jason, you and I were talking about this earlier. Actually, there's a website called Biz Buy Sell where you can go and type in the amount of funding that you have available to invest, and they will search for existing businesses that you can buy. But there's a lot of pitfalls that you have to be very careful about. And when you really start getting in there and exploring, why are these people selling this business? What you will find in this industry is a lot of the times the clients that they have are just not good clients. Maybe they're just not generating enough revenue for it to be worth the effort. Maybe the doctors are just jerks and they're not fun to deal with. Buying a business like that typically is going to cost you about 3 times more than what our business costs as a startup. So you
Yeah,
really have to.
two times as a minimum, 3 times, if you can get it. It kind of depends on the scenario, but you're going to pay at least double the annual revenue for purchasing a business.
Yeah. So the only reason, I mean, we hear from our business owners sometimes that, of course, you can sell your business if you want to. That's your prerogative. You can pass it on to family if you want to, however you want to do it. But we have heard stories of some of our owners have contacted us and said, well, I had to let this one client go just because they were difficult to work with. They tried to lowball me, tried to get me to do it for 4%, and it's just not worth my time. So I had to get rid of it. So you want to be very, very careful, especially in this industry. If someone's trying to offload a medical billing business, you really got to do a lot of detective work for that. So with us, the investment is a one-time investment of $30,000, and literally you could make that much money back in about a year with just one client. So it seems pretty viable, when you look at it that way, to just start with us, instead of dealing with, because you now have full, autonomy to choose the clients that are going to be best for you, if you go with ABS. So.
Yeah, for sure. It reminds me of, we have one of our owners who's been with us a long, long time, who will not be named, but every few years he circles around and he says, I think I'm going to sell the business. I mean, this guy has like dozens of clients, so you're talking, close to seven figures, if not over seven figures for a sales price. And I actually found a buyer for him once. Um, I was working with someone who had a really high net worth and he hadn't pulled the trigger on his business with ABS yet. And I said, well, hey, we've got this opportunity. It's probably going to be a seven-figure purchase, but would you be interested in talking? And he said, yeah, I'd be interested in talking. So I went
Mhm.
back to the ABS owner and he said, oh, well, actually, I mean, it's hard to give it up. It's, so profitable. And he ended up backing away from it. And we had a buyer right there for him. So
Yep.
it sounds great, but as Adam said, the investment into an existing business is going to be multiple upon multiples above a $30,000 investment. I mean, even if that business only had one single client, you're probably looking at between $75,000 to $100,000 investment. That's with a single client that would be producing probably, 40, 50,000 a year in income for the business. So
Hmm.
wish we
Yep.
did. If we had a whole book of resales, we've got people constantly asking for it. So
Yeah. Don, we got another question here from Don. What are the most common doctors or medical practices that ABS owners service? That's a good question. We actually have a list we can send you. It's a very large list. And what the list is stating is that, I don't know if you're in the industry or not, Don, but, when it comes to electronic medical record systems, health record systems, they try as hard as they can to service all specialties, but you can't be all things to all specialties as far as the medical record systems that the doctors are using in the exam rooms on their iPads or whatever. So we have a list of, what is it, 20, 25 specialties maybe that work.
30.
30. Okay,
Yeah.
30 that work really, really well with the EHR platform that we have. It doesn't mean that you can't go outside of those specialties, but there are some that tend to work better. We have a lot of cardiology clients. We have a lot of podiatry clients. We have a lot of pain management clients. We have a lot of labs. We can do any specialty you can think of. We can get the work done anywhere in the country. Even like we have durable medical equipment clients. We have ambulance client services. What else? Pharmacies, labs, all kinds of stuff. So it doesn't have to be just physicians either. Chiropractors. We even have a dental platform, so you can go after dental clients as well. The only market that we don't go after at all is the hospital systems. They have a totally different billing system, different set of codes, and those are just way too big for our business owners. Whole different animal. So aside from hospitals, our sweet spot is the small to medium sized private practices. So we tell people 10 doctors in a group or less is kind of the sweet spot for our owners. But of course, if you have the resources, the ability to do the work, we have licensees that have closed a single account with 50 doctors in one group. So, you can land those bigger ones, if it's set up right. So
Yeah.
there you go.
One of the things about, if you're marketing to the right kinds of doctors, it makes things easier, right? So the doctors that in that list of the 30 different types of specialty medicine, those doctors tend to get, as Adam said, the strongest benefits from the software. They also tend to get more dramatic increases in revenue. Remember, this is all percentage of revenue. So a 20% increase in revenue for a cardiologist might be $20,000 to $30,000 a month. Whereas for, a chiropractor, that might be, $1,000 a month or 2,000, right? There's just a huge difference in the average revenue of these practices. So they make a lot more additional revenue if the average revenue of the practice is larger. So that's why we target those types of marketing. But as Adam said, you can market to any type of physician, chiropractors, dentists, durable medical equipment. The list goes on and on. Basically, anybody's a client, except for we don't go after hospitals and really large networked clinics. It's not that we can't service those. It's just that they're not very realistic to pick up as a client. You're talking years. And if you're best friends with the hospital admin, hey, sure, let's talk about it. But outside of
Yeah.
that, don't go walk into a hospital trying to get the business. It's
Right.
it's not
Right.
really how it works. But thanks for your question, Don. Um, I'm going to actually answer Antonio's question here on the 30-day guarantee because it's a really quick answer.
Mhm.
Antonio's asking if I start the training and I finish it, then at that point I'm not convinced this is the right business for me. Am I still in the grace period 30 days for the refund? So here's how the refund works. You make the investment, we schedule your very first training session. Usually that first training session is within a few days of your investment date. So like, for example, if you invested on Friday, we would probably have your first training session Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of the following week. I mean, we get it, usually scheduled right away. The 30-day guarantee on the contract that you'll sign with us starts on the very first date of your first training session, right? So you have a full 30 days to go through the 10 sessions, and most of our owners finish those 10 sessions in about 2 to 3 weeks. So there's plenty of time to complete the training. So that's the way that it works. And the spirit of that guarantee is if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. You're going to know that within the 30 days of your first session. We've never had a problem with somebody, you know, uh, dragging training out for 6 months or something. That's not really, that's never happened. So if it's not a right fit for you, we're going to work with you. And, we don't want your money. Take the 30,000, take it to a different concept that's a better fit. I mean, really, it causes problems for us and it causes problems for you if it's not the right business.
Yeah, and I would like to add that it is a little bit difficult to get across all the opportunity and potential in this business until you go through the training. And so what we hear most often is when they graduate the training, they come back and they say, oh my gosh, there is so much more potential than what I thought there was with all the different services that I can offer outside of billing. So they're just like blown away by the potential. They just didn't realize was there, and I always tell people, if you would like to give us more money, please feel free to do that. I would take more than 30,000 if you want. No one has ever taken me up on that offer. I don't know why they haven't, but no, I'm kidding. But no, it's great. I mean, I want to talk so much about this reviews thing. Like if you go look at our Google reviews, we've got like a 4.9 rating. I mean, tons and tons and tons of 5-star reviews. We actually I got to just mention this. I just updated this page today. If you guys get a chance, go to our website and go to the very bottom. So our website is absystems.com. If you go to the very, very bottom, there's a little menu down there with a bunch of different things you can click on. And there's one that says reviews. If you click on reviews, I just updated that page. I had it updated today. And so it takes all of our Facebook and Google reviews and puts them onto one page where you can just click and scroll down and see them all. And there's just dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of reviews on there. And they're all real people. I mean, you can click on their picture, you can click on their profile. These are all people that have gone through our program. So the proof is in the pudding, guys. I mean, you can see that there's many, many people that have done this and been successful. But like Jason said, if you feel like it's not for you, you can ask for your money back, and that's in writing in the agreement.
It sure is. Yeah. Thanks for the great question, Antonio. It's nice to be able to explain that in detail. Um, I don't know if you've chosen another question here. We could probably start with Christian's question there at the top.
Sure. Yeah. Christian is asking, having no experience also, could you give us an insight on how doctors and practices currently manage these billings? What sets ABS apart? I think we touched on that a little bit already. Essentially, what we're offering is a way for doctors to not have to worry about doing all of this stuff in their offices. I mean, when they realize that we can take this one headache out of their office and manage it and do a better job than they're doing now, that frees them up and frees their staff up to do everything else that they have to do throughout the day. It really is a burden that's lifted off of their shoulders. And then with our system, the doctors are getting paid in as little as 7 days. So I don't even think Jason mentioned that, but with our system, we are reducing their claim rejections and denials, which means they are getting paid a heck of a lot faster. So with our system, they get paid in an average of 7 to 10 days, and they literally see the money hitting their bank account, 7 days after you go live on our platform. So they are blown away by the efficiency, and they can see the results because the money is in their bank account. So they're more than happy to pay you for your services because they see it happening, in front of their very eyes. So
Yeah.
hope that helps.
Yeah. So for doctors, here's how simple it is. Headache go down, revenue go up. That's literally what we do. I mean, we've been doing it for 30 years. You know, give them a better operating environment, less stress, and put more money in their pocket, usually 20 to 30%. That's how these businesses grow. Um, Devendra's got a great question here. Easy for me to say. Maybe it's time to wind down the webinar if I can't speak. Great question, Devendra. How easy or tough is it getting a new practice or clinic as a client? How crowded is this market? That is a really good question.
Mm.
So you're starting a new business, right? If anybody tells you that starting a business is easy, if they use the word easy, then you should run for the hills, because you would never use the word easy in starting a business. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Nobody would work for, a corporation or a large employer. Everybody would just start their own businesses. That's why you partner with a company like American Business Systems, because we reduce the mistakes that first-time business owners make in their first year of business. The majority of first-time businesses fail within 3 years. It's a rough world out there. That is why you're partnering with a company like American Business Systems with 3 decades of experience. We get you past that first really rocky year. All the mistakes that people normally make in a business like this, we help you navigate around those problems and obstacles. And I'll just stop here to give a bit of advice for those of you who are planning on investing with us and starting your businesses. You're part of what you're paying for with this investment is lifetime support. And support is what helps you navigate those first year obstacles. So if you're not utilizing support, then you're more likely to hit those obstacles that you could have avoided. So that is one thing that we really encourage our owners to do in that first year of business, is really, really partner closely with our support team to make sure that you're not going to hit those roadblocks that, most other business owners in their first year do. So we would never say that it's easy, but if you follow the model, if you pay attention during training, don't play solitaire while your trainer is talking, don't text on your phone and not pay attention. And then you go to launch your business, you don't have any idea what you're doing. It's kind of difficult to help you if that's the scenario. Take it seriously, block out distractions in the, hour to hour and a half per session you're spending with your trainer, really focus and, learn how to do this. And then once you finish training, follow the processes exactly as we teach them and partner with our support team to execute on those strategies. If you do that, you will be successful. That's not a question. It's just we wouldn't use the word easy. It takes effort to start a successful business, but we'll help you get there.
Great answer. I know we're almost out of time, but I do have to
Yeah.
add to that because he's asking how much or how crowded is the market. Do a Google search for medical billing in your area, and you're going to find a million results. It's very, very low barrier to entry into this business. And what we do is we show you how to completely set yourself apart by presenting yourself as something totally different. So everybody else out there, they're walking into medical offices, like Jason said, they're handing them out brochures, they're going cold calling door to door. Everybody's doing that. So we teach you how to present yourself as what we call a revenue cycle management consultant, which lets the doctors know immediately that you are different. You are there to analyze not only their billing procedures, but several other things that you can talk to them about that you have services and solutions for. So we show you how to set yourself apart from the noise out there, all the other medical billing companies out there. So hope that helps.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of questions in here, but we really need to kind of wind things down. There's several of these I think we could knock out really quickly. Don, I see your question about the software and if it uses, any automation. Uh, we literally have a software demo scheduled for next month. So Don, I will walk you through that. I'll walk you through the system. And for everyone else, if you don't have a software demo scheduled, do please get with your American Business Systems rep. They'd be happy to schedule a live software demo with you. There's loads of other questions here, but with 5 minutes left, we should probably wind down and close the webinar out, unless you see any more questions that we could hit really quickly, Adam.
Yeah, Liv, your question about the alignable webinar, that was actually referring to a licensee only webinar. Sorry. So
Yeah.
we are going to be doing an alignable webinar for our existing business owners. So if you would like to come on board with us, we'd be happy to have you on that webinar whenever it's ready.
Yeah, leave if you're ready to take the leap. We will definitely get you into that webinar, or if you miss it, we'll have a recorded version for you to watch. Let's see, any other questions? It looks like we've got just a couple of comments and things like that. I don't see anything else that we could answer quickly, but we really, really appreciate all the awesome questions. Thanks to all of you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We're going to go over just a couple of closing things here in the last minute. As I mentioned several times during the webinar today, we've got a lot of steps to help you with your due diligence and your research. We have a downloadable research guide. It's a 65-page PDF. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, email your rep and we'll get that document to you. That's the manual. It's got all the details of what it takes to run and grow a business like this, all the services, all the solutions you can offer, profit potential, cost, everything. It's the manual. So if you want the details, ask for the research guide. We have a phenomenal YouTube channel. If you haven't made it to our YouTube channel, we record these webinars every Wednesday and we put these webinars on our YouTube channel. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of hours of content there for you. So check out our YouTube channel. You can go right to the main website. It'll link you directly to our channel. I mentioned this before, but in case you didn't hear it, we have a list of about, 15 to 20 American Business Systems owners who are successful and have offered their time to talk with prospective ABS owners like yourself. If you'd like to speak with some of our successful owners and ask them questions and get insight into their businesses, feel free to let your rep know and they will get you a reference list to reach out to them. Just mentioned this with Don, live demo. We love doing those demos. We can show you the operational side of the business, how to file claims, features and benefits of the platform. It's an amazing platform. So get with your rep if you haven't already to get a demo. And then if you're right at the finish line, you've done your research and you're ready to pull the trigger, if you haven't seen a purchase agreement from us, let your rep know and we'll get that to you straight away. And then once you sign the purchase agreement and send in the funding, like I said before, we get you scheduled in your first training session, usually within a few days. I'll mention this one more time. We do have the 30-day 100% money back guarantee. If it's not for you, you have an opportunity to go all the way through the training sessions. If for any reason you decide this is not the right business for you, you let us know, we send back your money. And if we did not cover your question, if you don't know who your rep is, if you have no idea what any of this means that you've seen in this webinar and you're very confused and you need a lot of help, here's what you do. You send an email to info@absystems.com and we will get you connected with the right person to answer your questions and make sure that you get all the assistance you need to research this business. That's it for me. Adam, anything else for you?
I think that about covers it. Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jason, and everybody. Hopefully we'll see you in a training class soon, or at least on our next Wednesday webinar. Hope to see you there.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you joining. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.